What up, YouTube? Welcome to Reading Reddit, where we share some of Reddit's craziest stories. But before you do that, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Alright, let's get into today's video. So, what do a lot of parents do that screws up their kid? Refusing to admit when they're wrong. It's actually very hard to admit when you're wrong and not trying to make excuses, but it can have a negative impact on kids. My parents are divorced, and when I was staying over at my mom's one weekend, she and I got into a mild argument about something trivial. I made a good point which basically dismantled hers, and there was a silence for a bit. She then proceeded to send me back to my dad's and didn't invite me over or call me for like a month. If she did that now, I wouldn't take it too personally, but as an impressionable 9-year-old, it p***ed me up for a while. It's funny when the children act more like adults than the adults do. Overprotectiveness. Of course, there are always some things that need to be tightly watched around kids, but when you shield your child from every possible inconvenience, they'll end up either spoiled or overly dependent. I'm not proud of this by any means, but I am currently 21 and I have no idea how to do just about anything because of my parents. They always had some what-if story made for when I wanted to do things. Now that I'm older, I have no idea how to do anything and have to ask for help to learn the simplest thing. Best thing I can do is just that. Ask for help to learn it for myself so I don't need to rely on others later down the line. It really sucks. Just as a piece of advice, you can learn pretty much everything you need to know on the internet. Give low effort answers to questions. If you don't know, that's fine. Teach the kid how to find out. Is yelling "just Google it" a low effort response? Smiley face. As long as the first time you said that, you also sat down with them and taught them how to use Google and compare different sources to find the most reliable information, you're good. Belittling them and never acknowledging their age. Some parents will still treat you like you're 3 years old even if you are 40. I'm in my early 30s and my parents do this. It gets old fast when the grown-ups are talking and when you try to add to the conversation, it's ignored. I'm in my early 30s and my wife and I live in my hometown. Sometimes I feel bad that there are large parts of our lives that I keep from my parents, whereas her parents know everything that's going on with us and our hopes, dreams, and goals. But every time we share something with them, they belittle our decisions. We just told them that my wife got a job in a bigger city 5 hours away, and instead of being excited for us, my dad just said that the housing market wasn't very good there. Dishing out sarcasm and smart-ass answers, but getting mad at your kid when they start dishing it back at you. Edit. Well, I now triple my previous highest comment. I guess I can thank my parents for that. Yeah, you can. The day my son, 5, told me to stick that in your lunchbox and eat it is the day I will never forget. Me, to my 8-year-old, who was playing video games. Okay, time's up. Him, oh man, can't I play a little longer? Me, all good things must end. Him, you must end. Give in when kid is being demanding or throwing a tantrum. And I don't mean giving in once in a while to keep the peace in a public place. I mean every time. I found $1 outside once when I was about 9. I was with my 4 or 5-year-old neighbor who got really jealous and demanded I give it to her. I refused. F you. I found $1 and I'm a 9-year-old and that's a big deal. And she ran home to her mom upset and about to cry. Her mom tried to explain that I found it, so it was mine only one time before she solved the issue by grabbing the $1 from her purse and tossing it into the bushes while her daughter's back was turned. Hey look, there's another one. Now you found one too. That kid was a nightmare with a very warped definition of fairness. Edit. A lot of you saying this was an okay way to handle the situation. And it would have been, I think, if it were an isolated incident. It was not. She was a spoiled, rotten, and her favorite way to handle no was hitting, scratching, hair pulling, and biting. Discipline wasn't really a thing in her house. She was an actual nightmare child, and she didn't outgrow it for a long, long time. Also consider this, the lesson this little girl is learning is that the world will bend to her will whenever she gets upset. Not only will mom and dad give her what she demands, but apparently so will the universe. Never negotiate with terror, tantrum throwing. If they get away with it once, they will always get away with it. Whenever the kids I work with try to get their way by starting a tantrum, I tell them, stop, that doesn't work with me. Maybe it works at home, but not here. And surprisingly enough, that stops them. Comparing them to other kids, especially siblings. No kid likes to hear, why can't you be more like so-and-so? It's just so damaging. Your child is not so-and-so, and they never will be so-and-so. Just help them along with being who they are. My parents constantly compared me to other kids when I was growing up. Some of the kids they compared me to were bullies of mine. I was never good enough for them. Fast forward now, I'm 31, and whenever I speak with them about problems in life, they're always asking me why I compare myself negatively to others. I literally just made the connection, and I want to cry. Holy gee, that's terrible. But you know Jordan wouldn't be crying like that. Full circle. Giving a kid freedom as a teenager is key. However, giving a kid so much freedom that you essentially check out from any sort of parental role is bad parenting that ultimately leads to the kid trying to make life decisions without any real guidance and somewhat up their life. Yep, it's all about balance. Enough rules, routines that the kids grow up feeling safe. Building a good work ethic, but enough flexibility and freedom that kids learn how to go with the flow of things when plans suddenly change, and learn how to deal with mistakes, failures, and less than ideal outcomes. Also keep in mind that the balance changes from time to time, and from child to child. Maybe one kid is ready for certain responsibilities, freedoms at age 16, whereas the next kid wasn't really developed or confident enough for those same things for another year or so. Gotta adapt to the differences in each kid. At the same time, you've also gotta be fair too. You have to avoid, well, Johnny got to stay out late when he was my age, why can't I? Sorts of arguments. I don't have any easy answers. I just recommend making sure you always communicate with your kids and get to know them. Trying to live vicariously through your kids' athletic activities. Yes, pushing kids into activities in spite of what they want, or allowing them to sign up for so many things that their schoolwork suffers. Seriously, I look back at my childhood and cringe at all the times my parents forced me to do sports activities I didn't want to do. It was very clear I was an artsy kid that liked music, crafts, etc. But they just thought I didn't find my sport yet. Granted, maybe one day I would find something, but it took a lot of me pushing back for them to finally accept I had different interests than what they had hoped. Ignoring your kids can lead to emotional neglect. That may not seem like a big deal, but it kinda screwed me up. It's kinda increasingly saddening that a lot of what is said in here applies to me. I was told to sit in the corner and shut up a lot, go outside and play, or do something that isn't near me. Then I get told to do something and I don't know how, and I'm afraid to ask because I always got yelled at for bothering people, then ultimately get told I'm stupid for not knowing how to do the thing. And then they don't do it and do not teach it to me. And then they gave me a Game Boy randomly one time because a friend was selling it for dirt cheap. And since it shut me up and kept me quiet, they just let me do it. Which is partly why I love games, because while I was locked in a corner half of my life and told to be quiet in my home, I could explore all these crazy worlds with cool characters. But also when I got older, I still played them and got at because all I did was play video games and I never talked or left the house. I mean, I don't know, Mom, it doesn't make sense to me that you throw me video games when I'm 7 and tell me to shut up and then get confused when I hit 15 and I don't talk a lot and play video games. Hell, I'm 21 and I still play video games and hardly talk to people that isn't already in my circle of friends, which is basically 3 people. Minus the circle of friends. We pretty much got the same story. Hell, man. My parents divorced when I was young, but shortly after my 21st I moved to live with my father. Holy, the environment is totally different. No more drunk and screaming. No more political rants lasting 5 hours. No more arguments that she ends by saying, "I'm done. I don't want to talk anymore." That she then picks up again after 2 whole minutes of silence. I clean my room, do my classwork, go to work, help out with Nana's Alzheimer's. I do that, and on my days off I get to browse Reddit, paint WH40K minis, and play video games. Shit, my father even tells me he loves me. At least his father tells him he loves him. Relentlessly tease them for liking a boy or girl, or relentlessly insist that their friend is their little boyfriend or girlfriend. No matter how much they protest that, they are just friends. Ah yes, the nobody has friends that just happen to be the opposite response. No matter what achievement one makes, the parent relates it to a failure. Nice job making Eagle Scout, if only your grades were better. Good work mowing the lawn, but you couldn't do the dishes? I can't believe you lasted this long living on your own driving a forklift. F you, Mom. Last time I checked, I'm employed, not in debt, and going back to school I completely supported myself. I'm doing pretty godly and well for someone my age. So my parents too, like for real, just congratulate me for the 5 freaking tests I did well on. But no, they keep ranting on about the one test I had mediocre points for. But you got a C on your report card this term, and a C for you is like a D for someone else. My mom. She meant well, but dang. The phrase not living up to his potential still makes me cringe. Well dang, I could relate to some of them stories. What about y'all? If you have any, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with all your family and friends. Bye!